to another episode of Sessions with Coach April. I'm your host, April Hogan, and
I'm your co-host, Cass Wofford.
All right, so you guys get to just see us today. You know, typically lately we've had a lot of guests on the show, but for the next couple of weeks it'll just be me and her, kind of conversating on some things. Now y'all see we got our handy dandy papers, but we'll probably won't use them as much because it's us talking, but. Our topic today, and we're casual. So we're here at the office. It's Spirit Week at the office. Spirit Week today is sports teams. She doesn't have her sports team, but we're representing the same team.
Exactly.
Still in
I'm moving, guys. I'll get it together, I promise.
Yeah, next one she'll be ready, right? So our topic today is boss moves and broken hearts.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going there. All right. So this is one for the ambitious women and men that juggle love, heartbreak, and leadership. Whether you're building a business with a partner, healing from one, or trying to figure out how not to lose yourself in the process, this episode is for you.
Yeah.
All right, so we've already learned boss life, and I don't even like to say boss, because when you think of boss, you think of like bossy. We say leadership, we'll say entrepreneurial. The entrepreneurial journey can be a lonely one.
Yes.
And not just intimate relationships, but even family, friendships, work colleagues, whatever. It can be a very lonely journey if you don't surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of dive into that today, but we're going to mainly talk about intimate relationships.
Okay.
Now, you guys, those who know us may look at us like, how are they talking about that? They're both single.
I mean, we've been through it though.
Right. Exactly. All right. So, let's keep it real. A lot of people think the life of a boss or entrepreneur is glamorous, right? Mm-hmm. There is a lonely side though, especially for the women.
Yeah.
I feel like there is for the men, but I feel like there, especially for the women, because we have a stereotype as in where we're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Where we're not supposed to have. We're not necessarily pegged as owners, right? Mm-hmm. We become them because that's what we become, but generally society kind of and then black women.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's even more, right? So we're going to touch a couple of those things, but let's talk about the things that people don't see behind the grind.
Right. There's a lot. Again, you guys might not know this about us, but we've been through 2 marriages. Together. 3. Well, not all together. I mean, like during the process, because we've been doing this entrepreneurial thing together since since before Sage was born. So about 10 years or more.
2012 is when it started. Yeah.
So it's been over 10 years, right? So we've both been through a marriage in that time frame.
Mm-hmm. Girl, I've been through 3 marriages in that time frame. I had to tell my business, but
okay, well.
Because it started with, I'm going to say P. You know what I mean. It starts with P. Then, and because we were together
I
at
forgot,
that time.
because that's when I first met her. Okay, right.
Then it went to the one that I got Rich from.
Yeah.
And then it was this last joker.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
For me, it's
okay. So for you, it's been 3. For me, it's been 1. But it's a lot that goes into it that people don't see. Number 1 being the unspoken competition.
And you know what? That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
So you were already aligned.
Yeah. Because it's like you said, it's that as black women we can't be too much, right? We can't aspire to be more than what's expected of us. But we still got to contribute in a meaningful way, just in a way that they're comfortable with, where they don't feel like we're emasculating them. And then it's the control. I mean, it's the stress, the loneliness. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it that people don't see.
Well, and then even like for those who support.
Yeah.
Where is the support coming from? Is it coming from an evil place? Because my last one, the support was coming from a bad place.
Yeah.
The support wasn't, I support you because I love you, I want you to succeed. It was like, well, I know if she gets there, I'm going to, although I'm secretly jealous of the fact that she's doing this. Like, he literally told me one time, first of all, I hate the business side of you. It's one of the biggest sides of me.
Yeah.
All right. And he said this. And then the fact that he said, I hated that everybody wants to come to you. So You know, like, now mind you, he didn't start getting into business until we were together, right? I had been in it for a very long time prior to that. So you can't necessarily put yourself in a space where I'm at yet. But the lovely part is I'm willing, you at least have the blueprint of somebody helping you, where I didn't have that. Like, so, yeah, there's definitely a lot behind the grind of being an entrepreneur in a relationship, and then still having kids and having responsibilities, and then having a man who still expects you to be who he needs you to be as a wife, but not necessarily him being the support that you need as his partner, because of the jealousy, because of the, you know, you're doing stuff that he's not doing. Not understanding that I can still be me and still support you. So.
And help us both grow. And I know we said we were gonna, you know, talk about the intimate relationships, but you have those same things from people who are just family relationships. You know, friends, family. I mean, I had a close female friend who, you know, on paper said she supported me and was acting like she was my biggest cheerleader, and I'm praying for you, I'm rooting for you, but behind closed doors it was, well, how are you able to and I can't? And it was like that unspoken competition where it's like we're supposed to be rooting for each other.
Right, and I want to explain, she said close friend because she only has one best friend.
That's true. My bad.
And that's me. So let's get that clear. Okay. No, that is very true.
Yeah. So do you think being a strong, driven woman makes dating or relationships harder in business?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah, period. I mean, like, even just like, I honestly have gotten to a point now where I don't want to tell people what I do. Like, I don't want to lie, so I won't lie, but people will ask, like, what do you do? I consult businesses. Oh, okay, you work for somebody? Or, yeah, I work for somebody. It's my company. I don't need to tell them that. But because it is, like, you feel like you're always trying to, like, lower yourself for a couple of different reasons. One reason is because you don't want someone to now see you as a meal ticket and try to take advantage. And then the second reason is you don't want someone to be threatened by you and then use that to, because it's like, and this is what makes it hard, ladies, especially when you're beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, especially when you are an attractive female, right? And you're a smart female. So it's like, okay, well, I want you for whatever exterior reasons, right? You look like you got your stuff together, whatever, what have you, and you're pretty. But I'm threatened by you because you make a certain amount of money, you have a certain level of success, you actually know what you're talking about, although you want that benefits you, but you also are threatened by it. You know, like, so it makes it difficult trying to wean out the ones who are there genuinely. And then there comes the piece that, oh, well, the provider side. Well, why do I have to be the provider if you make this much money? Because you're supposed to be my man. Like, so so same question.
And a lot of men feel like that takes away, like, if you make a certain amount of money, it takes away from what they feel you could be doing at home. Right? Because we've had that conversation too, where I had a conversation with a guy and he's like, I think I mentioned, like, well, what if I want to pay for, you know, a cook and a cleaner to come to the house, you know what I'm saying, once a week, once a month, whatever. And he's like, well, why would we pay for that? It takes away from what you could be doing. Like, really? Like, what if I don't want to do that? Like, you know, we're both passionate about, you know what I'm saying, what we do, and we love what we do. But if we want to invest our time into building up our businesses and we're like, okay, we don't feel like cooking tonight, we'll hire somebody to do it. Or we'll hire somebody to come and clean on the weekends. Why do you feel like I should lessen myself and I should do that instead of focusing on growing our business and growing our foundation?
Well, when you think about even the sense of, like, if we think of what they are statistically man roles, right? Taking out the trash. If the kids are taking it out and you don't take it out all the time, you got somebody else to do it. Cutting the grass. If you pay somebody to come cut your grass and you don't cut it every time, that took away from what you could be doing. Fixing the car. And let's talk about how many men in this world cannot fix a car or change a tire, and you go pay somebody to do it. Isn't that the same concept?
Yeah, absolutely.
Would be my thought, right? And if you don't know how to do it, you should be figuring it out, because if that's your role, right? So I absolutely feel like, and it took me a while to be okay with the fact that I hired a cleaner, But then also, I work hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to say, like, I need some help, and then invest in somebody else's business to have them come do it, Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And that's another thing. When you're business minded, you look at it that way. You're investing in somebody else because there are people who enjoy that, and that you can pay them sometimes inexpensively to come and clean your house. So what's wrong with that? Like you said, you're investing in somebody else's business, helping them build a foundation. One hand washes the other. It's not so much as, well, this is your job and you should be doing it, but somebody else loves it. I hate it. So what's the problem?
And I actually like to clean to an extent. I like to keep it clean. I don't like to get messy and then clean it. Like I don't like that. But also the thought pattern of, you said it's my job to do, and if you're providing for the household, as long as I get it done, whether it's with my hands or the hands of the married maids, it shouldn't matter. Like, it's getting done. Yeah. I'm paying for that piece out of my income. I'm making sure that it's done. You don't have to worry about that side. I got it. So I feel like, just like, I don't know, I feel like the whole piece of, okay, well, if you can't do it the way that I want you to do it, then you're not doing it as my partner, or you're not doing it right as a woman. Like, no. Like, so let's talk heartbreak. Yes. I've had to show up. So, okay. So I'm not even going to talk about clients. This says something about clients. First of all, I'm not a life coach. So whenever my clients better not come to me talk about their problems and be like, although we do have those conversations sometimes. Yeah. But anyway, so have you ever had to keep leading while your heart is breaking? So leading in terms of leading your house, because we hold a lot of, like leading your household, leading your children, leading in your business, leading in the workplace. So have you had to do that? And then what does that look like?
Girl, yes. And like you said, it's not just leading in as far as business. It's everything. And sometimes it's not even just due to heartbreak. Sometimes it's due to stress. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's hard trying to parent when you're breaking down inside. And I mean, from your health problems, but even in things that I've dealt with, from depression to whatever, trying to smile in front of your kids and not show them what's going on, and still go to work and smile for other people, because working in HR, you kind of got to be, especially in corporate America, you kind of got to be what you are for your kids to grown adults at work, right? So they come to you with conflict resolution, and you got to keep them engaged and keep them active and keep them, getting through their day so they're not burnt out and ready to quit. So when you're doing that and you're breaking down inside, and you can't just be like, listen, guys, today I just can't do it. Right. That's your job. That's what they pay you for. So you got to show up no matter what. Right. Even as a parent, you don't get paid for it, but you still have to show up for your kids no matter what. So there's been plenty of times where I've had to wait until my kids went to bed and just go murmur and break down.
And unfortunately, not even just that. When you're in a relationship, as the nurturer, as the one who wants to generally keep the peace, you still got to show up for that man. Yeah. Like, there have been plenty of times where it's like, okay, I know I'm about to have to leave the house, and I just want to break down and cry. And then when it's time to come home, I just want to sit there in the office, and I don't want to leave. Like, I don't want to go home because I know what I'm going to have to face once I get there. And I know it's not going to be reasonable. Yeah. I know he's not going to consider how I feel, because it's always about the narcissist and how he feels. So, and then, I also, again, I have health issues that I got to think about. Then now it's like, man, if I continue to stress like this, I'm going to put myself in a situation. Yeah. I still got to make sure kids are cool. I still got to make sure the house is, everybody's fed. And then still have to have time to go to sleep, to come back and then deal with all of these people at work that need me to be who I need to be there, right? So it is difficult. Yeah. And man, it's thinking of what we have to do as women. And I'm not saying there's no men that have a lot on them. I'm not saying that. Yeah. But if you really consider the level of the amount of women who have to deal with this type of trauma every day. Yeah. And then wonder why we get to an age in a space where it's nobody's really worth it anymore. Yeah. I agree. And not that nobody is, but we're not gonna waste time trying to make you worth it, right? You have to be worth it from the jump. Absolutely. Because it's a lot of energy. So, real quick, before we get into our next piece, we're going to go on a commercial break. So, we got a lot more diving in to do. Stay tuned after these messages. It's time to level up. Your lunch break just got a whole lot smarter. Get ready for Sessions with Coach April, where business, strategy, and real talk come together to help you grow, win, and stay ahead of the game. Join me every Wednesday at 12:15 p.m. for a powerful, no-fluff lunchtime podcast designed for entrepreneurs, career moguls, and go-getters just like you. Watch the video podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Roku TV, or listen on Spotify, Podbean, and Apple Podcasts. And don't miss out. Exclusive clips will premiere on Instagram and TikTok to keep you inspired all week long. It's time to invest in you. Let's build, grow, and thrive together.
All right, guys, welcome back. We are talking today about boss moves and broken hearts. So real quick, I just want to add something to what we talked about before going to the break because, you know, my kids go with their dads during the summer. Okay. And when Pinky and Shane were younger, it was easier to send both of them together. They had the same dad, and now Sadie goes with her dad. People used to always say, what are you going to do when you don't have any kids? Most people will be out like running the streets, partying. I've never been a party girl like that. But that was my time to break down. Mm-hmm. Like, it was my time to be like, I don't have any kids here with me. I'm not leaving the house. Like, that was my time to just like draw in from everybody else and just like break down all the stuff that I couldn't do when they were there because I had to focus on being so strong all the time. Mm-hmm. So just be weak and be by myself and just get it all out before they came back.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I never got that opportunity. I had my kids 24/7. Yeah. So like, 2 of their fathers were not active, and then one was active, but he was always on the road and always gone. So I had my kids all the time.
So when did you break down?
It was generally, so I had periods where the car was my favorite place. Mm-hmm. You know, like, even I know now you be going out sitting in the car, mainly because it's cold, but, you know, just at the time, there was times where I'm going out in the garage and I'm sitting in the car. Or I'm driving, and when I drive home, I'm sitting in the car for another hour or 2. I don't know if you notice every now and then, if I come home, Avion's first thing, he opens the door and looks. Like, because he's used to the fact that I'm probably going to sit there for a while. Yeah. So that's one time at night. And then also, I'm in my room a lot. Like, I spend a lot of time in my room. So if I'm not working, and that's probably my biggest, like, where I gotta chill a little bit on the work in terms of work balance and self-care. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those that if I'm working, that's my distraction. Yeah. When I stop working, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's when it all kind of like, because now I'm thinking, you know, and then it's like, so really, it's any time of alone time that I can kind of get that I'm not allowing myself to be distracted by something else. So I mean, that's why for me it builds up a lot. Like, so it generally build up, and then when it hits the fan, it's just like, because I've allowed either, you know, what I gotta do to take care of to distract me. Sorry, you guys, my dad. It's Father's Day coming up, and I've started sending him gifts, so he's calling me. So it's when I'm like distracted, like I've been really good at like creating distractions to keep me from dealing with or having to deal with things. Mainly, not because I don't want to deal with it, but mainly because if I stop to deal with it, what am I now missing out on? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be strong enough to continue because all depends on me. Yeah. So if I stop, am I gonna be able to pull myself back? Right. And not allow myself to kind of wallow. So when I got sick, so for those who don't know, I went through like 5 months of being like super sick, like liver failure, broken out all over my body, flaring, like just crazy. In the hospital for about 5 months in and out. I really depended on God. Like, whew, like when I say he became at that time my best friend, like just talking in real time, like not even like, oh, dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you, like, Lord, why is this happening? Like, you gotta do something. Like, I will forever believe in you, but what? Why? So like, to the point that was the only thing that kind of kept me in my mind, like, because I mean, I remember I would be in so much pain. I would get up, and I don't want to make this about this. Now, mind you, it is almost about relationships because when I was sick, that's when my husband decided to leave. Mm-hmm. So they say sick and through health, right? Yeah. Richer for poor. So apparently it was rich, not poor. Right. It was health and not sickness. The devil. So
we can laugh about it now.
We can. So, you know, that was a point where it was just like, I had to depend on God like I have never had to depend on him before, which I needed because now, regardless of me being better, I still am dependent on him. So, yeah, I'm still trying to find that time of where I can just sit and cry and sit and, you know, get it over with. I think when I was married though, other than when he was the one getting on my nerves, he was my space to cry. Because I would cry. And then when I cried, it'd be like, what are you crying about? And most of the time, I'd be like, I don't know. It's really not so yeah.
Okay, so what's a moment you had to choose your business over a relationship or walk away from something that wasn't growing with you?
Man, I do that all the time. So every marriage, I kind of walked away because they were not on the same page in terms of where I wanted to go in life. And it wasn't just business. So my family is business too. Like, I have to provide for them. So in order to provide for them, I have to be about my business, right? So every marriage was a choice between, do I want to elevate or do I want to stay stuck? Because whoever I'm with is kind of like in a stuck space. And I'm okay, if you are not as ambitious, okay, but don't stop me from being ambitious.
Right.
Like, don't have an issue with my ambition. And every relationship, it was that. It was like my ambition affected them negatively, even though it affected them positively because we had a good life, right? Yeah. But it affected them negatively, so it started to kind of like affect me. Now, I never got to a point that I would stop, but I could always notice the difference in when I was with somebody compared to being single. When I was single, like, things were just thriving. And it will feel like when I'm in a relationship, I'm telling them how I did this when I was by myself. But the ability to reach that to the same degree with them wasn't there. But you think two people, y'all would get further. Yeah. No, because one person was ambitious and ready to go. The other person was not happy with that ambition and wanted to pull back because it wasn't recognizing them. Yeah. So what about you?
I mean, the same in my marriage. I mean, because you know, we were trying to build businesses together, and we were trying to, reach certain heights. And when it became, and even though he was in business too, and he was ambitious, it became more of a, well, I don't mind you being ambitious, but be ambitious the way I want you to be ambitious, the way I'm comfortable with. Mm-hmm. If you're doing something that I can't control, I'm not comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. And so that was hard. I mean, even though I wasn't the one who made the choice to walk away from it and end it, it was still painful because at the end of the day, it was like, well, I'm not going to stop, trying to, because, I mean, we both come from the type of families where we kind of have to, we don't have family that we can go to and be like, hey, I need $1 million to invest. Right. I need $100 to invest. So anything that we want to build for our kids moving forward, we got to build ourselves. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those situations where it's like, I can't afford to not try and progress and move forward. And I also can't afford to let you hold me back from doing this either. Right. Because, I mean, as we see now, you can decide to walk away and then I'm just still stuck. Right. And you went away and tried to elevate and do something better according to what your family wanted to do and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you didn't see it as me and you being a team. You saw it as us being against each other, and it should have never been that.
Right, exactly. And that goes back to that competitive. Yeah. Like, it shouldn't be that. Like, realizing that all my successes are your successes. Exactly. Your successes are my successes. And when we succeed together, that's even bigger. Mm-hmm. Which is why I'm so single. Yeah. So, all right. So at some point, you realize you can't keep shrinking to make someone else comfortable. Mm-hmm. What boundary did you have to build that changed your life?
I've kind of taken the approach of, and most men would be happy to hear this, you kind of got to shut up, right? Even though I don't want to shrink myself, I'm done having the arguments with men about certain things, right? Like, I'm done with the whole 50-50 conversation. I'm not even entertaining the conversation no more. It's not even worth it having an argument. I'm at a point where it's like, if you want me to come in and be a certain way, then set the atmosphere for me to be that way. Right. If you want me to come in and be traditional, whatever, whatnot, and, just stay at home, well, make the atmosphere so I can do that. That means you can't ask me to go 50-50. You can't ask me to, be working and bringing in and investing all this money if you want me to stay at home and cook and clean. Mm-hmm. But that means you need to be at a point in your life to where you're like, I have everything in order, so all you got to do is come in here and be this. Mm-hmm. Now, I ain't saying I'm agree with that. Because again, you still leave the door open for, you might decide you want to leave tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And if it's one thing that I've learned in my conversations with men, just in casual conversation, just debating different topics, is that men will be okay taking care of you when they're with you. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they decide they don't want to be there no more, I don't care if I had you comfortable all this time, go out there and figure it out on your own. I ain't helping you, I ain't giving you nothing, that's now your responsibility. Mm-hmm. So I can't afford to lose my skill set and my ambition and my know how to go out and get it to make you happy. I just can't do that anymore.
Right.
I still need to be able to build for myself in case you decide to leave. And I know that sounds bad because it sounds like you're planning for the end.
It doesn't.
I mean, men
but
would think
what if that's not an end because you guys divorced? It could be an end because something happens to him.
Yeah.
Whether it's death or whether it's even just getting sick, and I still need to be able to care for, you know. So there should always be a plan B, because plan A, depending on just him forever, things may happen, right? Like, so for those who think of it just as, oh, you're just trying to plan for if I'm gone, right? Gone could be gone as in you know, no longer able to work at the moment. Yeah. Gone could be you passed. Gone could be you left, or you know. So absolutely, I feel like my version of what I'm no longer shrinking in is accepting less than what I'm worth, right? I had a very bad tendency of getting with someone, and when I got with them, I kind of like erased who I was. Yeah. So I didn't spend time with friends. I didn't take those kind of trips. I didn't do that because I was kind of trying to be who I needed to be for him. Well, then, like when it's time for him to decide, or it's no longer working, now I'm rebuilding relationships, or I'm refiguring out who I am. I'm not doing that this time. Listen, I'm gonna go on girl trips. You can go on your man trips. Yeah. Like, we're not going to get to the point to where the only way we trust each other is by searching each other's phones all the time. Like, that's so toxic. Yeah, like, it's so and I'm not saying just him. I have my times too where it's like, I'm checking your phone because I don't trust what you say. Yeah. So if I feel like anything's in the dark will come to the light. So I don't want your password. You're not getting mine. And not because there's anything to hide, but it's because we're not going to get in the habit of that's the only way we trust each other. Right? Like, now granted, if my phone is ringing, you can pick up my phone. You know, you can answer it. You know, there's levels. But, like, that whole, like, I got to have your password so I can look over your shoulder all the time. Or so I can, listen, if that's the only way you can trust me, and if that's the only way I can trust you, I don't want it. Like, I'm not interested. So, eliminating who I am, what I enjoy, for somebody else is not what I'm willing to do. Yeah. Like, I'm going to go out in the country with my husband. I'm going to go out in the country with my best friend. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just going to be me and him all the time. And I would expect he do the same thing. Like, with respect. I will respect the relationship just as he should. Yeah. But I'm not going to delete who I am just to be with somebody, right? Yeah. Like, that's my whole I'm not shrinking. Yeah. And I mean, as friends, you know, we respect each other's relationships. Obviously in that one relationship, our issue came because the men didn't trust us. So then they would get together and get in cahoots and be like, oh, they must be doing this. And it's like, both of y'all are just loud and wrong. And they were with us most of the time, which is the worst part about it. But yeah, so as a friend, I respect that. So, and I just had this conversation with somebody before I left Charlotte. And we were talking about how dynamics in female friendships change when, like, one person gets married and starts a relationship, and you adjust what your boundaries are. You give them space to be what they need to be for their husband, and still be your friend and respect their relationship. So that doesn't have to be, especially with me, I ain't never gonna be the friend who is like, you can't trust your woman with me. First of all, whatever she decides to do is not gonna be because of my influence. I'm not gonna be the one out here, oh girl, just do whatever you wanna do, just cheat. No, none of that. Even though I've been accused of it in the past. And it's usually about insecure men, but it's like, no, I'm never going to be the one who's like just pushing you to do wrong. I'm going to respect whatever your relationship is, period. So how did you rediscover your identity outside the relationship, and then step into your work again? So biggest thing was allowing myself to heal. Like that whole like hopping from a relationship into a relationship. And I actually seen a post on Instagram the other day talking about sometimes you have to accept what your current man is giving you while you're looking for the replacement. Yeah, no. It's ridiculous. Yeah, because then you're going to, if you haven't got to a point to really understand what to accept from the person you're with, then you're just gonna fall into that same pattern. Right. Like, and then that's not fair to the person who may end up being the good person, right? Like, so I really feel like knowing yourself takes time. Like it takes you taking time away from men, away from, you know, the dating apps, away from all of that, and really discovering what you want, what you don't want, that type of thing, and allowing yourself to actually heal. Like I went through, and this is like, I told you I've been married 3 times. This one was tough. Like, even though I'm sitting here looking at all the negative things, like, why did I want to be in this? Yeah. It still was like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm in this space. face. And just because in my mind it was like, I am done running. I'm going to stick in this. I'm gonna be in this. We're gonna thick or thin, whatever it is, we're gonna do it. And then I know everything that I gave. So like knowing that at my lowest moment, that's when it was like, which I thank God, because I feel like He showed me like, hey, I can't take you where you need to go because you got this leeching, and you know, as long as you're giving, He's gonna take. So, so really just taking the time to like, because I think another thing that we do is we live in denial, not just women but men too. Like, oh, I don't care about him, or I don't. But I did. You know what I'm saying? So I had to remind myself, and I know I called you a couple of times, man. Like, I just like, and there's the part that the pride that says you want to just say you don't care, but regardless, like, yeah, I love this person. Yeah. And this is some effed up shit. Yeah. Like, why would so just realizing like, man, this hurts. Like, this is not. It also helps you realize what you're not willing to put up with later, right? Yeah. As much as you stay in denial and say, oh, I'm so strong and nothing ever hurts me and nothing ever touches me, you always just end up back in a space where you really don't pay attention to what does actually hurt you and what does actually affect you. So that was one thing, was just like taking the time to be with me, realizing like, man, this hurts, right? Like, and this sucks, and I don't want these type of things to happen again, so I need to pay attention to these things. And then realizing who I am. Like, I mean, fortunately in my situation, I was the provider. So it wasn't like I hurt in that way. But still, like, that just, like, realizing, like, you have to love you in order to realize how you want someone else to love you, right? And when you accept things, you continually allow someone to remove a level of love that you have for yourself. So if you allow someone to stomp on you, you allow someone to hit you, to choke you, you allow someone to talk bad about you, to degrade you, you know, those are little pieces that they're taking away from you every time that they do that. Which now, although like I never believed I was less, it's still like the piece of telling me like, I'm okay with this. Regardless if I'm not, I am though, because I'm accepting it. Like, I'm allowing that to continue to happen. So then when it's gone and then you're grasping onto a piece of something that treated you like shit anyway, it's like, what is wrong with me? You know? So you do have to get to a point that you heal. You're honest with yourself, honest with what you contributed, right? Yeah. Like, even if a biggest part of your contributing piece was the toxic behavior that allowed you to stay. Like, and I just thought about the other day, one of my biggest toxic traits is accepting shit that I don't deserve, right? And I'm not allowing that anymore, so if y'all are hearing this. So yeah, I would think that would be the biggest thing of me stepping into my worth, and then realizing, like, in this power, in this piece of being by myself, the power of who I'm becoming. You know what I'm saying? And knowing who I'm becoming. Now the next relationship, I will take my time. I will be intentional. I will ask the right questions. You know, you don't love me within the first 2 weeks. Like, don't love by me, that's a red flag. Paying attention to the red flags at the beginning. Like, knowing my deal breakers. Like, that type of thing. And then saying, hey, like, this is who I am without you. So, either we're going to be greater together, or I'm going to stay without you. Yeah, so absolutely. So, what about you?
I mean, you touched on something that was a key part of mine. That's recognizing the part you play in your own circumstances, right? That was a big part of mine, because I went through a lot. Like you said, we go through a lot with these people because we're so invested in a relationship. I felt like I had to come back to who I was just as a black woman, because obviously, you know, I mean, it was an interracial relationship, but I caught so much flack from people because he wasn't black. You know, it was, you know, this can't be a real marriage. You can't speak on black issues. You're less black because of this, and I can't believe you're a traitor. You went to the other side. Like, I went through all of that. So for me, it was definitely a slap in the face when it ended, because it's like, you don't understand how much I didn't have to fight just to even be present in this with you as a black woman, and try and educate you on what I go through, what our daughter has to now go through as a black woman, understand your culture and what it is that you go through. Because it wasn't just me. Like, he had people in his culture who were like, oh, she's only with you because of this. And you know what I'm saying? Everybody had their things to say about it, right? So I won't just say it was just me. He had his issues too. But it was having to then come back from that after it's like, okay, I pretty much fought the whole world to defend this. And now you just want to walk away from it. Like it doesn't mean anything. Right. And that was painful. It was very painful. And I had to sit with myself because, I mean, I see it with interracial couples all the time. You know, we see these black men who go online and, you know, I can't stand black women because they this, and I only want white women because they're this. And then when something happens to us, I'm like, well, that's what you chose. Only difference is I didn't feel that I wasn't putting down black men because I wanted him. My decision to be with him had nothing to do with me hating black men. It had everything to do with, in this point in my life, this is what I want. He offered that. This is the space I want to be in. He provided that. And it was hard if it's hard for me to sit with that and come back from that and be like, as a black woman, how do I now move forward and decide where do I want to go? Do I want to do interracial again? Do I want to go back to black men? Like, what space do I want to be in this time around? But like you, I had to just sit for a while and just be single, leave the dating apps alone, leave men alone for a while. And I did the same thing after my relationship with Pinky and Shane's dad. I had to just be single for a couple of years and just figure out, who am I now in this space? Now, as a single mother of 2 or 3 instead of 2, how do I move forward in this space now? Trying to rebuild my life, get back to where I want to be at. Who am I? I changed careers. Like, it was so much I had to figure out. One of the main things I did was I had to sit with God. I had to spend a lot of time crying and mourning that relationship because it was hard. I had to deal with a more noticeable or more attentive child who I couldn't easily hide from. Because whereas Pinky and Shane would be like, okay, mommy's crying, we hear her crying, we gonna leave. Sage was like, what you crying for? What are you doing? Can I still come in here and watch TV with you? So I couldn't just disconnect as easily with her as I did with them two. It required me to be more present, more active, and to push off a lot of my healing until I could be by myself. So that was the hardest thing, was just finding that time with me and God where I can just tear away the facade, tear away the strong woman complex, tear away everything, and just be myself with God and rebuild myself.
So we're about to go on a commercial break, but the petty me, remember this is my best friend, the petty me wants to say real quick, the piece of her that said that you provided that was your representative. All right, we'll meet you after the break.
Business process outsourcing, or BPO, lets companies delegate tasks to experts. This allows businesses to focus on their core operations while specialists manage areas like customer support, accounting, and HR. Outsourcing isn't just convenient, it maximizes efficiency. Partnering with BPO services like A-Rich Innovations streamlines processes and boosts productivity. A major benefit of BPO is cost savings. Companies can reduce recruitment and training costs, allowing them to reinvest those savings into growth. With BPO from A-Rich Innovations, you gain a reliable partner dedicated to your success. Free up resources and focus on scaling your business. For more information, visit our website and follow us on social media for updates and tips. Let A-Rich Innovations elevate your business.
Wait, where are we at this time?
We are on segment 4.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Sessions with Coach April. I know y'all got to hear my little petty at the end. So her ex is my arch nemesis. I don't feel like I have any enemies because, you know, that whole I don't have enemies, but he is my arch nemesis. If you think they're the same thing, then okay, he's my enemy. But I still pray for my enemies, so I pray for him.
Yeah.
All right, so real quick, we're talking about, y'all know I'm ghetto, boss moves and broken hearts. So we're going to move into the CEO in the relationship, right? So this is the boss and you in the relationship. So when we're talking about being an entrepreneur or being a leader in a business or whatever that is, what is one thing you need from a partner when you're running a business or running a department or leading in whatever area you are in your business?
Support and understanding. I know there's 2 things, but they really go hand in hand. And I say this because I had a conversation before where I was talking to somebody about, you know, the frustrations of running a business. And they were pretty much saying, you know, well, if you're having a bad day, I'm just going to be sitting here playing the game. Like, you come in here and talk to me, but I might have had a bad day too, so I might tune out what you're saying. And it's like, well, sometimes I don't even need you to respond, but I do need for you to actively listen. So if you're just sitting there playing the game and you're not paying me any attention, I might as well be talking to a wall.
Right.
Like, I still need you to look at me, like, engage with me. Even if you're just listening for a while, just like, let me get it off my chest. But if you can't even give me that, then it's not going to work. Because if I come home and feel like I'm not being listened to as well, then what's the point?
Right.
So,
and then would that be okay if I did that to you?
Right.
Of course not.
No. I'm not even going to tell you who it was, but...
She's going to tell me after this episode, because I want to know now.
But yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, you know, it's the small things, because I'm not going to... It's not your arch nemesis.
No. That's recent.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like...
Lip?
You're so stupid. No.
Okay.
Before Ohio, I left recent. Yeah. So it's, yeah. Okay. It's his best friend code. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna ask you to solve my company's problems. I'm not gonna ask you how to do spreadsheets and, you know, how to put together SOPs. And I'm not gonna ask you that detailed stuff. But just in you listening to me, you might say something that sparks a solution to something I've been stressing about. Like, just that little bit of engagement might give me what I need to get to where I need to be to keep going for my company. If you can't even give me that, you ain't even trying. Because that's literally the bare minimum. Just be engaged, like you're doing right now. Look at me, engage with me. I understand. Nod to show me you're listening. Actively engage. If you can't give me that, then you just ain't giving me nothing at this point. That ain't even asking for that much.
Right. And then you expect, again, you're gonna expect that from me.
Yeah.
But then you're gonna expect me to feel like I'm supported.
Right.
Like that's crazy. I feel like, for me, so I can say support, but genuine support.
Yeah.
Like, if your support is just enough to like hang on to a coattail, you can keep it. Like, I'm not interested. I want to feel like when I walk into a space and I'm being celebrated, that that celebration barely matters because my baby is celebrating me. Because you're going to feel that from me. I'm going to celebrate the hell out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to feel like you are on top of the world, right? So I do want to feel like that. I want to feel like my first, like, the first person who praises my accomplishments and genuinely praises them is my husband, right? Like, when I go into, and I'm accepting some type of award or any of that, like, the first person I'm thinking about is, like, the one who helped me get here. Even if he didn't physically write the book or if he didn't physically give me the idea, the amount of support that he gave me through the process. Yeah. That's what I want. Like, support is important, but not just support, genuine support. Like, I can tell from your every action that you want me to win, right? And vice versa. Like, of course, I want to give you that same type of support. The problem is I am wired to do that. Like, I'm one who will, like, oh, you need to do this? And you almost have to tell me not to do it for you. Like, that's how bad I am. Yeah. So the fact that I'm that way and other people are like, oh, well, yeah, she makes it cool because we'll both benefit. But if she doesn't, then, you know, at least it's one less thing she's celebrating for, right? Like, that's not the type of, that's definitely not what I'm looking for. So I like I say, support, genuine support. So this is another thing I need men to understand about an entrepreneurial woman, because they go into the space, oh, well, she doesn't need me. She, you know, she has her own money, she has her own this, she has her own that. Just because we don't need you financially doesn't mean that we don't need you, right? Because the whole rest of the world, I have to be strong for it. So I want to be able to step out of the house and then everybody, oh, that's a boss. Oh, she handles her business. She's about her stuff. Don't play with her. But when I come home, you should be the only one that should be able to look at me and be like, all right, baby, come here. You can be weak. Yeah. Right? Like, I do need you in that sense. Like, I need you to hear the fact that I cry, that I'm stressed, that, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming, that I do have times that I don't believe in myself. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's where I need you. I need that arm, which is why I don't date anybody under a certain height. I need that arm to wrap around me and make me feel like I'm safe, I'm okay in this space right now, because I know tomorrow I'm about to turn around and do this again. Yeah. Right? Like, so there's a different level of needing you. It's because I don't need you financially, although I still want a provider. I need you. I just need you in another way. Like, I need you to recognize that I'm not this Captain Marvel or Superwoman that everybody else kind of puts on my plate without my permission, right? Like, I need you to realize, no, and I don't want you to see me as weak, but I want you to understand that there are parts that needs to be weak so that way I can continue to be strong for everybody else. Right. and continue to be strong for our family, right? So that is my, like, what I need from a partner.
Okay. So what are some red and green flags that you've learned to look for in relationships as a businesswoman?
First is how someone communicates.
Yeah.
Like, if someone cannot hold an emotionally intelligent conversation. Mm-hmm. So that's like, just to give an example, if we're talking and I don't agree with you, and I can express that, well, I don't necessarily agree with that because of this, but you get offensive. Yeah. Instead of trying to hear my point and then still also having your point and helping me understand your point. Doesn't mean I agree, but helping me understand yours while still listening to my point of view. Yeah. That's one thing. Like, if you are not okay with someone not necessarily agreeing with you, it's not going to work. Like, it's not going to work. Someone who only ever wants to talk about himself. Mm-hmm. Like, if you want to always indulge in who you are, but you don't ever really take the time to try to understand who I am too, that's another red flag, because it's always going to be about you. Yeah. Like, another thing is, where are you at in your life right now? Now, granted, we're talking about where you at in terms of, if you're not in the most successful space that you've ever been in, that's fine. But, like, what has happened? Like what are you working towards? Yeah. Do you have goals? Are you in a space to where you're like, hey, this is just where I'm at, I'm stagnant? So there's a lot of guys, especially me being prior military, that talk to their veterans like, yeah, I get my 100% disability, I'm retired, I don't do nothing else. Like, but I'm not talking about, like, I get my pension and my disability. I just get disability. That's it. And I'm done. I'm not doing nothing else. We're probably not going to. Because I don't necessarily have a cap. You know what I'm saying? So that type of person, which I get it. If you're done working, more power to you. I'm not saying anything about anybody who is at that space. I just know I'm not at that space. Right. So I still need someone to have a bit of inspiration, to kind of like understand who I am and where I'm at, right? Mm-hmm. The person who's just like, look, I'm good where I'm at, we're going to bump heads because I'll never be good where I'm at. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I am happy and enjoying the journey, but I'll never be in a space where, hey, I've reached the highest mountain, I'm done. No. Yeah. It's always going to be something higher that I'm trying to climb to. Mm-hmm. Right. So, where their ambition level is, also their discipline level. I will tell you, in a very important one that I didn't really pay attention to for a very long time, but I pay attention to now. How do you manage your finances? Mm-hmm. I've met some people who, men, who have thriving businesses. Like, yeah, I make money, but you can't hold on to money. Yeah. So that means your money management is terrible. Yeah. Which means I'm going to have to balance and worry about that the whole relationship. Mm-hmm. And the worst one isn't the one who can't manage money. It's the one who doesn't know he can't manage money. So now you got to explain, like, so at least someone who knows they can't manage is like, hey, I struggle with this. I need your help. Or, hey, you might have to manage as I learn, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I still rather not, but I'm okay with that more than someone who's like, oh, no, I'm good with my money. But you got, like, no savings. Yeah. So, those would be mine. What about you?
Okay. Emotional intelligence is one. Mm-hmm. I'm someone who, like I said, I'm at a point where it's like I don't want to have to argue about silly stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't mind having a discussion all day, but if the discussion becomes you can't take that I'm disagreeing with you and just explain your point and then let us agree to disagree, but you're more so explaining your point, trying to change my mind now, because now you're preaching to me all the time and just trying to get me to see things your way. Right. It's not gonna work. Right. Like, I'm allowed to have my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion just as you are yours. I'm not trying to change your mind at this point in your life, unless it's about something like really, really critical. Yeah. Like you think it's okay to beat a woman or something like that, something that extreme. Mm-hmm. But like simple stuff, I ain't trying to change your mind. You see it the way you see it, as long as it don't cause a division or conflict in our household, we ain't gotta agree on it. Mm-hmm. But don't try and change my mind, because that tells me you're listening to respond, not listening to understand. Right. And you ain't never gonna see my point of view. Mm-hmm. A green flag would probably be someone who is generous. And I don't just mean generous financially. I mean generous with his time, his emotions, his intentions, like just generous in the way that he loves me. Not even financially, just generous in the way you love me. That means you consider me. You think about me. If something amazing happens in your life, like, she's the first person I want to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see how she's doing today. Did she eat today? Like, just generous in the way that you love me. I don't want to have to fight for love no more. I don't want to have to beg for love no more. I don't want to have to feel like I'm like nitpicking and nagging you to love me the way I deserve to be loved. It should just be effortless.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for at this point in my life. It should be an effortless love.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like, we're gonna turn that
like,
into a meme.
girl. If it's not effortless at this point, I don't want it. And someone who communicates. I need somebody who can openly communicate and articulate how they feel. Because a lot of men, and I get society's conditioning you that you can't talk, you can't be emotional, you can't, things like that. Talk to me. I'll talk back. Like T-Pain said, I'll talk back. I need somebody who can communicate in a positive way, in a healed way. Because a lot of guys, they always say, well, you should have saw the red flags. In the beginning, I asked all the questions. Have you healed? What have you done to you? Have you been to therapy? I was like, yeah, I've done all that. I've healed. I'm ready to go. And not even 2 weeks in, you showing me you ain't did not no work.
Not none.
So I need somebody who can talk it like they walk it. Like, I need for you to be able to tell me, like, babe, I'm not okay today. Why are you not okay? Well, this happened. This is how I feel. Even if you're just like, I don't know why I'm not okay. I just don't feel like I'm okay. We can still work with that.
Right.
But you got to tell me. You can't expect me. And I won't expect for you to just know.
Right.
I will tell you, I don't know why I don't feel okay, but I don't feel okay. Can you just, I'll give you a solution. Can you just hold me? That'll make me be okay. For as long as I need you to. It can be that. But I need somebody who can just tell me what it is. I'm very much one of those. Tell me what it is, and we can get to doing it. Right. Don't leave me guessing. I won't leave you guessing.
Yeah, I hate that. The whole leaving you guessing thing. Or have to be so macho that you can't talk to me.
Yeah.
Like, be macho with everybody else.
Yeah.
To me, let's talk.
Right.
Like, let's figure this out. Because, absolutely. So many business moves come after heartbreak.
Like a great song.
Yeah. Can we talk about how pain can actually fuel your next level?
I mean, as a Cancer, I feel like that's one of the things that makes us up. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, zodiac thing, whatever. But, I mean, it's true. I often take, like, pain and heartbreak as, okay, now I got to show you why you done messed up. I wanted to say the F word, but I'm trying to be PG-13. But that's kind of what Cancer's mantra is. Like, if you break my heart, hurt me, screw me over, whatever, now I got to show you why you're going to regret it. So now I have to go out and be the best that I can be, the greatest that I can be, and whatever it is, to show you why you're going to regret this for the rest of your life. So that's just literally how Cancers are made up. I mean, you're made up that way too, and you're a Leo, but it could also be I won't say every woman. It could just be a strong woman thing, right? Because, I mean, we want them to feel it. The next time you see me, you're going to feel it and be like, damn, I should have never did that.
So that's her petty side, because that's not necessarily the way. So my thing is, first of all, my first initial feel, and I know you have this feeling too, is regardless, I have to leave my legacy, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can't let the pain you caused me stop me from doing what I'm meant to do, right? I have my kids who are looking up to me. I have clients who are looking for me to do stuff. I got stuff I gotta do. I got people I need to be making an impact on, right? So being outside of a relationship now helps me to, because the problem with me, I've said it before, I spend so much time concentrating on the person that I'm with, right? Now, I'll get my stuff done, don't get me wrong, but it's one thing when you got to get all your stuff done. It's a whole nother thing when now you have to get something done for somebody else as well, right? Like, okay, I'm going to fuel my dreams, but I know you got these too. So now I'm going to help fuel yours too, right? Like, so when I now only have me to concentrate on, look, I'm taking it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like a big part of mine is just like, not necessarily showing them that this is who I am. It's more of showing anyone who said I couldn't. Yeah. That I'm proving the part of me that allowed you to treat me that way wrong, right? Like I was saying, growing up, there were certain instances in my life or certain people in my life, family and everything, you're not going to do this, or you're not going to finish this, or you're not going to accomplish this. And then relationships, although my last relationship was like, oh, I know you can do it, but then secretly plotting against me, the piece of me that allowed you to do that, I'm not going to prove you wrong, but I'm going to prove that piece of me that allowed you to do that or allowed you to make me believe that. I'm going to prove that piece of me wrong. And if you're proven wrong in the process, I will say, though, there have been times I've thought about, like, yeah, I'm about to have this stuff go worldwide in these different avenues, and I just hope it pops up on the TV, and you'd be like, oh. But it's not necessarily my fuel. My fuel is, because it's the same fuel that fuels me when I'm with somebody. The difference is when I'm with somebody, my concentration is not solely me. It's more of like, hey, I want us.
Yeah. And
since I've tended to date people who didn't have their own light, it was almost like I was trying to share my light or pull them into a light, which is why this time it is important. You have your own light. Please be your own person. Have your own goals. Have your own ambition. Like, I will back you up, but I cannot be it for you. Yeah. Like, so that's what I would say mine is.
Have you ever come out of a relationship and felt like this was my, that breakup was my glow up?
This one.
I agree.
Yeah, so I've always been a go-getter. Like, I've always been I put my mind to it, I'm going to do it, right? I've never been afraid of failure. I've never been afraid of not accomplishing something. If I don't accomplish it, it means it just wasn't meant to accomplish. I'll find a way to redirect, right? But this situation but I also feel like, so me being sick when this happened, it was the one period in my life where I could not fix it, right? Like, I'm so used to, if I go through something, I'm going to fix it. This was the one situation where I could not fix. Like, and it's just like, again, it's why me and God were really close. And I feel like I needed to go to that period because I needed to see, like, it wasn't you, April. Like, it definitely was God. So this is my glow up mainly because I stopped depending on April. Yeah. Because April's made a lot of accomplishments, but I also credit those accomplishments to April. Now the credit, I ain't got shit to do with it. Yeah. And I hate to say that, but God knows what I'm thinking. I don't have nothing to do with it. Like, literally, like, anything that I do right now, and I've been doing since this, from the time that I healed from the sickness, and I'm not fully healed, it's chronic, but from the time that I got out of the space where I was just like feeling like I was on my deathbed to, everything that I've built since then, it's been accredited to God because it's stuff that's like, even though I know I'm great, it's stuff that's like, how did I get here? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, how, and that's why it's so scary too, because it's like, man, what if, but then I gotta remind myself, but you didn't get here yourself. Yeah. So it's not for you to wonder what if. Like, you didn't accomplish it, so since you didn't accomplish it, stop worrying about how it's gonna stay that way. God's got you. So yeah, like, it's more of now who I credit it to. I've always said I can accomplish anything. Look, tell me what it is, I'm gonna figure it out. No, like that's not where I'm at right now. Like, a lot of the things that I've accomplished, including the money I make, including the different things that I've built, including even just the wellness, right? Ain't no way. Like, it's God. Like, a lot of people in my position, and we talked about the other day about like why I did surgery and what that process looked like. A lot of people had no choice but to go through that. Like, the doctor even told me one time, he's like, I don't understand how you stay unmedicated and you have not had bigger issues. Because it's not me. Like, it's literally not me. And I'm not one who follows a strict diet. I do whatever I want to do most of the time. So, I pay for it too. But yeah, so it's definitely who I credit now that has made this be but yeah, it's definitely my biggest glow up. And it's not over yet. Yeah. So. I know that's right. What about you?
I feel like the end of my marriage was the start of that. Because it wasn't a fast thing. It was definitely a slow progression. But I felt like you did. Like, it was, for a while there, it was like, I don't know how this is going to work. Like I said, I transitioned careers. That was during COVID. It was just me at that point with the kids. They were in a different space because they were now being homeschooled. Like, COVID changed everything for everybody. But a lot of that process was, I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how I'm going to get to A to B. Like, it was just a confusion of, okay, Lord, what is going to happen here? Right. And it all worked out. And I feel like ever since, especially once I made the move to leave Ohio, I feel like God is going to grab my hand and we've been running. Right. And because even when I first moved to North Carolina, like, I had in my mind, I'm going to go to this city, I'm going to do this. And the things that I had set up to go there didn't work out. And then I ended up in Charlotte. And then ever since then, it's just been, all right, God, you're going to have to make something work. Like, something is going to, and even in the bad situations that I found myself in, as far as a job, which started off great, but ended up being toxic, I learned so much. And it helped propel me to where I am now. So it's just like, God has just really took my hand and took off running, and we ain't stopped for nothing.
Right.
So I mean, I feel like you, like I'm at a point in my life where it's like, if God don't do it, it's not gonna get done.
Right.
And that's one of the hardest things, because like you said, it's easy to be like, well, Cass can do it, and Cass can do this, and Cass can get this done. But when you gotta sit back and be like, God, you gotta do it, that's scary. Because you don't know where you're gonna land. You can't even see the steps sometimes. You can't see no ground. You just know you out there in the wind.
Right.
And it's like, sometimes you can't even flap your wings. Like, we just falling. We free falling like Loki. It's like, it's been 30 minutes. So, yeah, it's definitely scary. But, man, when God glow you up, that's a glow that just does not dim. So, I'm excited about that.
So we're going to go into segment that's talking about if I could talk to my younger self. But before we get into that, I want to talk about a book that's getting ready to come out. The Cass is the visionary for it. It's called Dear Daughters.
Nobody told me this, but
all right, yeah, because I'm sitting here trying to think. Dear Daughters, nobody told me this, but and it's going to be an anthology. We're actually starting June. We're going to start accepting people who are interested in being a co-author in this book. It's a story where you're telling your younger self or your daughters lessons that you wish somebody would have told you. It'll save you a whole lot of grief, a whole lot of drama, and even a whole lot of heartbreak. So I want you guys to start looking out for advertisements on that. For Dear Daughters, nobody told. Say it again.
Nobody told me this, but
yes. So start looking for that this month here in June. All right, so the question, if you could go back to a version of yourself in the past, first of all, where would you go? How far would you go? What age? And then what would you say to her now?
I would go back to, and this might change my entire life, but I would go back to myself at 18. And that was before I had any kids. My first real relationship, I would go back to her and say, don't do it. Don't do it. Because there were things that, when I look back at it now, there were early signs that I wasn't aware of. That if somebody had pointed out to me, who knows if I would have listened. But I feel like I could convince myself now to listen, even without giving away the ending. Would it change the fact that I have my 2 oldest kids? Probably yes. Would it change the fact that I even led to my 3rd kid? Probably yes. But I would definitely go back to myself at 18 and change a couple things. Even before that relationship, I would change a couple things.
So mine is tough. So I got pregnant when I was 16. The problem was before I got pregnant, I was headed in the wrong path. I was doing stuff I had no business doing for attention because I wasn't getting attention at home. And it took her for me to wake up and say, wait, somebody else needs you. Get your act together. So I can't necessarily say that I would tell myself before her not to. I think if anything, the period that I may tell myself, gosh, it's hard. I got a couple places I would go to tell myself some stuff. I'm trying to think of what age I would have started it at. I mean, I definitely would. I don't know. That's the only problem is the age. I know what I tell myself, but definitely tell myself that I do matter, that I do have a voice, that I am loved. That's probably, and I'm going to try not to cry. That's probably the hardest thing growing up is feeling like who I am to people was placed on what I could do for them, right? And it started very, very young. Like the level of attention I felt like I would get from my family was based on what I was doing at the time, right? Whether it was accomplishing something or I was being bad because it's the only way I could get attention, right? So, and I guess I would talk to the little version of me just to say, hey, like, you are loved. Like, regardless of the people who may struggle to show you the way that you need it, understand that they're doing the best that they can for who they are at the moment. But God always loves you. You are loved, and you are meant to be great. And just hope that I would believe it at that time. Like, and I don't know what age, because it's been a long time. So, yeah. So, you know I'm writing in the book. So yeah, that would be what I would tell myself, and I try my best now that I have children, to make sure that they understand that, man, like, I believe in you guys, like, I love you guys, and I will do anything to help you understand who you are, who you can be, and that no matter what you become, I will always love you. So
yeah.
So
you know, I hate when you cry.
I know.
Yeah, I think the only reason why, and again, I know, people always say, I would choose my kids in any lifetime. There's nothing I would do to change that. And I do love my kids, everything that I am. The only reason why I would go back to that time in my life is because that relationship damn near broke me. Mm-hmm. Like, I tried to commit suicide after that relationship. Like, there was just so much about the course of my life, which apparently God felt like I needed it, right?
We still question him.
Yeah.
We love it.
I still be like, did it have to be that out? But yeah, there's so much about that time in my life that was just so dark, and it wasn't right away, right? But I feel like if I could avoid that heartbreak, I feel like, and again, God obviously feels differently, I still feel like I could get to the person that I am now, but that was just dark, like unnecessarily so. And it's just so much of it. Even this day, I just like, man, I know those wounds have not fully healed. Mm-hmm. And my oldest daughter's 20. Mm-hmm. That's been a long time. And it's every day, it's still a work in progress. And I still just don't understand why. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where it's like, if I could just erase that part of my life, I would. And I love my baby. Like, honestly, even though Pinky, I wouldn't change her for the world. Mm-hmm. But I would just have to take out that part of my life. Yeah. Or at least tell myself to go about it differently. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I understand. She could have just froze his sperm. Artificially inseminated without shit. I get offended because this is my best friend. Right.
Or if I could have just did what I wanted to do in the beginning and just, that would have helped. Because, yeah. But... We're going to take that part. So what's a hard truth you had to learn about love and business the hard way?
Love and business the hard way. And this is more than just love and business. You have to choose you.
Yeah. And
the reason why is the person you have to look in the mirror every day is going to be you, right? And if the person loves you, he's going to be okay with you choosing you. Mm-hmm. Just like if you love him, you're going to be okay with him choosing him. Now, we have to make room for each other. Yeah. Like we absolutely do, because you guys are together. Mm-hmm. But my happiness is no one's responsibility but mine. Right. My peace is no one's responsibility but mine. That's that whole topic. I just want someone to be my peace. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be. Like, your peace, God gives us peace automatically. It's your job to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. So with that being the case, in order for me to be at peace, I have to love who I am. And part of loving who I am is loving what I do, right? Mm-hmm. Loving how I show up every day. Yeah. So I have to choose me to be able to properly choose you. Yeah. I have to love me in order to properly love you. So in business, I have to choose me. And me choosing me should equate to me choosing you, right? And if someone doesn't support that, then we're not going to work. Right. So, what about you?
Something I have learned about love and business the hard way is that everybody's not meant to go where you're going. And that's a hard reality because you love people, right? And you want everybody to win. I always say that. Even if I have nothing to gain from it, I still want everybody to win. If I love you, I want you to win. Mm-hmm. Don't mean I want a piece of it. Just means that I want the best for you because I love you like that. Mm-hmm. But everybody can't go where you're going. And sometimes you hurt yourself more trying to drag people with you who are not meant to be there because you're just essentially dragging dead weight. And you're slowing down your own progress and weighing yourself down unnecessarily. Mm-hmm. And it can be hard to cut people off because, again, you want everybody to go with you and you want everybody to be able to celebrate this win together. But some people just don't want to be there. Right. They ain't going to tell you that, but their actions show they don't want to be there. Right. And you can't force somebody to want the best for you. Right. That's probably been my hardest lesson is you can't force somebody. The same way I said you can't force them to want it for themselves more than you do. You can't force them to want it for you either.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so let's end on a high note. What's one tip, just one, for balancing love, leadership, and self without losing your peace?
Take time for yourself. Yes, in relationships, you have the other person that hopefully they're a godsend, they support you genuinely, they love you unconditionally, they want the best for you. But take time, whether it's a weekend staycation, whether it's a week-long trip, something. Take time for yourself to recalibrate, relax, rest. Because a lot of times, especially as business people, we don't rest. We always like, we got to keep going, we got to stay on top of it. I know you struggle with that a lot.
I was
like,
going to say, I know she's talking to me.
Yeah, we got to stay on top of it, got to keep going. But you're no good for nobody else. Like, I'm learning now that I'm almost 40, your health really is your wealth. If your body is not functioning right and you can't get up and walk around like you can't function 100%, you ain't gonna be able to make no money. I mean, unless you just have something like you taking pictures of crippled feet or something that you can put on the internet, but you have to be healthy. You gotta take care of yourself. So rest is essential. Take that time for yourself. Be selfish every now and again and just rest.
And what mine would be is you are in control of your peace. So it's 90% of how you react to a situation is only 10% of what happens to you, right? So you have control over your reaction. You have control over your mindset and your mind frame. You have control over your emotions as much as sometimes it doesn't feel like it. If it means taking your 30 minutes to cry and then like, hey, let it go, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to forgive. You have to let go. You have to continue. And whatever that looks like, you get into the process of doing that. Figure out what that is and practice it. So I always have to remind myself, like, look, you control the amount of peace you have because God gives you all of it. So if you don't feel like you're at peace, it's because you are allowing yourself to feel like you're not at peace. So take advantage of the peace He's giving you, right? So that would be mine.
Okay, well, last question. What's your favorite way to check in with yourself when everything feels like it's just too much?
Staycation. I will book a hotel in a heartbeat. I don't care if it's around the corner, down the street. I will book a hotel in a heartbeat and just remove myself. Gives me time to think and have clarity on how I feel, right? But sometimes when you are balancing a lot, you don't really have a clear even vision of why you feel away or even how you feel. So just having that time to like get away, remove everything that's like in your headspace to just relax. And that doesn't mean always going on a staycation and the whole time you're in the room just thinking about your problems. No. It's getting away from everything, giving some peace, because a lot of times when you come back with a fresh mind, now you can approach things a better way.
Yeah.
How about you?
Alcohol. No, I'm just
That's what she...
That's not it. Mine will probably be meditation.
Okay.
I've been working on like just centering myself, clearing my mind, like really spiritually, just like sitting in the presence of God and just like being in this space of, okay, I'm not thinking about anything, I'm not dwelling on anything, I'm just here with you, like just hold me, you know what I'm saying, in that type of space with God. That's what I feel like, to me, that's what meditation is. It's just me going to a spiritual place of God. It's like, okay, I'm just sitting at your feet, I'm just sitting in your lap, I just want to be in your presence, you know what I'm saying, to feel like I'm reconnecting and regrounding to the source, right? So for me, that's what it is. Like, I just need time to, and even if I have to wait until everybody goes to sleep at night, and just lay in my bed, and even if I fall asleep and wake up, whatever, but I'm just in that space where it's like, God, I just need to reconnect with you. That's what does it for me.
Okay. All right. So that's this episode. Listen, for all the women and men who are out there building their dream and holding on to that grasp that love is out there, whether you're already in it or you're looking for it, we see you. All right. So I want to remember to tell you, you do not have to choose between love and legacy. You can have both of them. If you have to choose legacy. You don't have to choose between love and legacy. Remember to subscribe, follow, give us your thoughts, your opinions on what you feel about the episode. Share your stories. We may share it on the episode if you allow us to, right, with your permission. And we will see you next time on Sessions with Coach Avon.